Hey Mom, can I get a tattoo?
Absolutely not. They're dangerous.
Actually, they're not. And here's why.
First, you should know how a tattoo works. The tattoo artist will inject ink using the tattoo gun to pierce your epidermis and inject the ink into the top layer of the dermis. The ink does not go down into the dermis layer, which is your most important layer because it contains arteries, veins, nerves,
Sorry, baby.
your hair follicles and hair root, erector, pili muscle, and oil glands. Or your subcutis layer, which contains adipose cells. Because it does not affect the sweat glands and oil glands or the adipose cells, your body can continue to thermoregulate itself and maintain homeostasis.
When the tattoo needle injects the ink into the dermis, the phagocytes and mast cells try to eat up the foreign substance, and by doing so, the cells are stained, which gives that tattoo the permanent quality.
Remember, as the tattoo artist injects the ink into your body, he will pierce the epidermis layer with his tattoo gun. Your epidermis layer is a thin layer that is clear that contains 4 different layers of keratinocytes. These cells will continually regrow and shed off, leaving behind the tattoo and eventually healing the epidermis rather quickly. Keep in mind, this has been enlarged for your viewing pleasure. Hey Mom, are you convinced yet?
No, what about all the diseases, Katie?
The main disease everyone is worried about is hepatitis. Well, about hepatitis. Of the 13,387 annual cases of hepatitis each year, detailed in the most recent CDC report, only 12 are associated with tattoo studios. By comparison, 43 cases, which is almost 300% more, are associated with dental offices. Think about that. If you're worried about HIV and AIDS, there has been no documented cases concerning tattoo needles with HIV or AIDS since they started documenting it by the CDC in 1985.
I'm sure you're worried about allergic reactions, simple bacterial infections, or whether or not the tattoo parlor is even sanitary. The first step to the solution is to go to your doctor and find out if you're allergic to any of the ink you may be exposed to while tattooing or any of the equipment.
And when you get to your tattoo parlor, you should always check to make sure the license is out in the open. You should make sure everything is clean and look for throwout kits in the trash. Wash them open all of the new needles and equipment before getting the tattoo. You should also ask the expiration date of the ink to make sure it's not expired. And if anything feels wrong, you can always walk out at any time. And if you're worried about function and accessory structures of your skin, you shouldn't. Because all the structures, for example, the pili muscle, the veins and arteries, the hair follicle, the nerves, the oil glands, and sweat glands, they're all located in the dermis, where the ink does not touch. Also, you can still thermoregulate and protect your body because the adipose cells are located in the subcutaneous, which is underneath of that. So all damage done to your epidermis and area where the tattoo needle hits will be healed quickly and won't damage any necessary functions.
Keep in mind, your subcutis layer, which contains your adipose site, retains heat and insulates your body, keeping your body warm when necessary. This is untouched by the ink and continues to function as normal when getting a tattoo. Also, your sweat gland is untouched by the ink as it resides in the dermis, which means you can continue to sweat and cool your body down when necessary, which is a vital part of homeostasis. Also, the hair root is located in the dermis, which is the growth of the hair follicle. This is untouched, therefore it continues to grow as normal and is the outermost sensory organ which senses touch and other things on your skin. After the initial shaving of the tattoo, when it is applied, it grows back and continues to function as normal.
Although a small amount of people do end up getting minor bacterial infections, just remember that most of these are because of the person's own mistakes, and they can be prevented by getting an after-tattoo care kit, just like if you were to get a piercing. Remember, a tattoo is just like an open wound and should be treated as such.
How about now, Mom?
Aren't you going to regret it sometime later in life?
No, actually I won't. Because only 5% of people have covered up their tattoo with another tattoo.
Only 17% of people have some regret after getting their tattoo.
16% of the 17% said it was because they had a name tattooed on them.
And the 17% said they don't like the way it looks.
11% of the 17% said it was because it faded over time.
11% of the 17% say it was because they felt like it was a stupid decision.
8% of the 17% said the tattoo was more visual than they wanted.
2% of the 17% say it was because they had trouble getting jobs.
Only 11% of people got their tattoo removed.
29% of people say their tattoo makes them feel rebellious.
31% of people says their tattoo makes them feel more sexy.
5% of people say that their tattoo makes them feel more intelligent.
3% of people say their tattoo makes them feel more athletic.
4% of people say their tattoo makes them feel more healthy.
How about now, Mom? Have we convinced you yet?
I don't know. What's going to happen when you go look for a job later?
A lot of people are in the same boat as you, Mom. However, businesses, more and more businesses are recognizing that more and more people are getting tattoos. For example, Bruce Potts is a professor at the University of New Mexico who sports a full tribal tattoo on his face. He claims he's never had trouble finding a job, and it doesn't affect his work. The Mayo Clinic also recognizes more and more people getting tattoos, and Clinton says people with tattoos are accepted, but in order to maintain a professional policy, they are required to cover them up. So as long as you get your tattoo in a place that can be easily covered up, you shouldn't have a problem. Some businesses even see the diversity of having tattoos on them and would hire those people because they believe it makes their company stronger. 1 out of 5 people have a tattoo nowadays, and that's 40 million adults. Odds are those people all have jobs and had no trouble finding jobs with a tattoo that could be covered up.
Well, have we finally persuaded you?
Well, you did point out some interesting things about how your skin can still thermoregulate, protect and maintain homeostasis, how the chances of getting diseases and infections are low risk and preventable with the right tattoo parlor. It doesn't affect your job, doesn't hurt the accessory structures of the skin, and it seems like not many people regret it, and people feel better about themselves. Maybe we should all get tattoos.
I feel so intelligent.
No regrets.
Here's another fun